Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Esoteric Cloud Surfer here once again, ready to take a ride in Esoteric Cloud, which is a lighter, less dense and also vibing on a higher frequency and vibration vehicle, so your spirit jumps into Esoteric Cloud so it can float to higher, more expanded realms of reality, so you can look at your own circumstances and you can look at yourself in a higher way, so you can feel higher and better about yourself and your choices. So today I'm here to present a concept which is being afraid to gain rust. Okay? And that is a metaphor that we use here on my home country when somebody doesn't want, generally little kids, when they don't want to take baths, right? Because they're afraid to get rust. But yesterday I thought about that, and actually that's a very powerful esoteric tool of knowledge. So let me explain. That happens to people that have a very logical, analytical, masculine mind, a very metallic, robotic mind. They are a cobalt mind, and they are afraid to connect emotionally. They are afraid to get some water, right? Because that is what happens when a metallic object or iron, right? That's a metal, right? When they get in contact with water, or a lot of water is in the air, or when it's near the ocean, all right? Those metallic structures, they gain rust. The iron and the metal, it starts to transform into something else. So somebody who has a very logical, a very metallical mind, they are afraid to get in contact with water. They are afraid to connect emotionally deep. They are afraid to deep emotional connections. They are afraid of deep compromise. They are afraid of non-logical communication because they are afraid to lose their metallic, analytical, and logical capabilities. Because when you get too much into water, a second, a minute in the real world can look like a long time in your internal world, into the water world, or into La La Land. Because when you use too much water, you can go into yourself, or you can go into La La Land, into imagination, possibilities, dreams, and illusions. So when somebody has a very logical and an analytical mind, for them to connect that deeply, it kind of hurts, it's very uncomfortable, because they can't process it, and because in that realm they have no power. They become rusted, they gain rust, they get all cranky, they get all slow, they are not flexible at all. They get vulnerable, and they feel like it's acid, it burns them, because they get so uncomfortable that they are always trying to kill those feelings of connection, of slow down, of coming low, of feeling open to receive others without judging and thinking and looking at reality to analyze that connection. So if you are afraid to rust, you have to learn, or you have to realize that you don't need to rust. As a very logical person, you don't need to get so deep, you don't need to go and connect all of your feelings, all of your emotional capabilities. You can do it in a percentage level, you can do that in moderation, you should do that in moderation. And also, maybe you are afraid of connecting emotionally, maybe you are afraid of going more deep because you, in the past, you had a water sign, or you were experiencing in very watery environments where they didn't accept your logical mind, or you were seeing as weird or cold, and you were just being yourself. So it's not you are afraid of getting wet, you're not afraid of getting rusted, gaining some rust. You just have some bad memories, because you have to distinguish yourself. Are you really afraid of water, or are you afraid of past connections? Because that's water as well, but that's your waters. So you are afraid, or you have bad memories of your own experience. That's one thing. Now, when you talk about connecting with somebody else, that's new, that's water, but more into the future because you are connecting with somebody else. And that can be uncomfortable to you, or you can just have some insecurities or some bad luggage from the past. So you need to use your robotic, analytic, logical mind to separate those two concepts. But if you are very logical, if you are very analytical, it's very likely that you will at least experience some uncomfort while or when you are around very watery, very emotional persons, people, places, and things, or very dreamy, very imaginative, that they don't have their feet on the ground people. You'll also feel uncomfortable because you are not flexible in that realm. You can't get sturdy. You start to transform. You start to shade. You start to lose cloths. You start to lose clothes. You start to lose protection and shell, and you feel vulnerable. And you don't like to feel vulnerable. You like to feel sturdy. You like to reflect light. Metallic objects, they shine. They reflect light. You like to reflect. You don't like when people see what's your infrastructure. You don't like when people have a direct gaze upon your internal realm. But water signs, they can do that just by being around you. They feel everything around you, and your spirit knows that. That's why you get really uncomfortable around those people, even if they don't talk to you, even if they don't look to you. You feel uncomfortable because you know their spirit is circling your circumstances, and by the movement you do and by the movement it does, it can match the frequency and vibration, the waves of movement, and see that you are hiding something because you have a facade, you have a metallic case, you have a metallic protection around you, aka external masculine ways to perceive the world, to analyze, to separate, to be fast, to be flexible, but all of that in the straight line. You might be very fast and very flexible, but you move like this, right? While the water, or the more feminine spirit, moves like this, it is way more flexible than you, but it doesn't show that, at least in the external realm, because if you have a metallic, analytic, logical mind, you are very, very influenced and connected to the external realm. So you might misunderstand, or it just might cross your eyes, that the more watery feminine spirit, they are way more flexible than you. But outside, they are less confident, or they have less strength in their individuality, so you think they are all messy. You think they don't think straight. You think that they can't handle certain circumstances, but they can in the internal way. And you might get afraid to dip your metallic mind into some water, right? Because you look at the water signs and you think, oh, they don't make good decisions. They are not responsible. I can't trust them. But actually, you can trust them with your biggest fears, with your craziest demons. All right? You can trust them to, you give them a shopping list and they go to the store. They will forget 5 or 6 things at the store and they will bring something you didn't ask. But the things you didn't ask, if they really care about you, the more watery feminist people, places, and things, like a thing can't go and shop for you. Yet, robots and shit, fuck all that, right? But if that water sign or fire sign, that watery spirit, if they really care about you, the things that they brought from the grocery store that you didn't ask, but they got because they were thinking about you. They bought those things because they were remembering how good of an emotional connection you have. Those things will fulfill you, and those things were not even on your mind, but it was on their heart. So those things will fulfill you way better. And you might feel awkward on that position. You might feel weird. You didn't brought what I asked, but you brought this. Don't be harsh like that. Don't be straight. Don't be flexible like this. Front, right, front, left, left, up, down. Be more flexible. Go more around. Enjoy more the waters. And don't be afraid to get rusted, because just an example, but that food will fulfill you way more than all of the things you had in your mind if you are too analytical or too metallical person, all right? And you are afraid to connect with more watery, internal, and more feminine spirits or circumstances or energies because you trust too much or you only see parts of yourself that deal with metal, robotic, cobalt mind, logic, analytical, fast and light bodies of the mind. So you are afraid to get in contact with the water because you are afraid to gain rust, aka you are afraid to get slow, you are afraid to get stuck, you are afraid to care too much, you are afraid to feel things you don't know what to feel and you start to transform and shed, and you are afraid to be very sensitive as well. So balance, accept the vulnerability, accept the transformation, and accept the connection. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's how we expand the universe, and there is no better thing than to have a real connection with another spirit that really gets you. All right. So if you have a too much metallic and robotic mind, actually gaining some rust, gaining some stability, gaining some losing some flexibility on that perspective will also balance you a lot because your spirit can use those spaceships. They rusted, they slow, so your spirit needs to learn to use more low, more heavy, more dark, more wet spaceships, and you start to learn things that those things cross your mind, but you pay them no attention, or you think it's just your imagination. One of the worst expressions you can say, it's just my imagination. As I say, it's way better to be lost on your own la la land, because you have general la la land and then you have your own la la land. It's best to be lost on your own nightmare, on your own dream, than to be lost on this low ass realm, right? So it will balance you to get some water, to get some deep connection, to get some emotion, to get some care, some emotional, spiritual meanings and reasonings. It will show you parts of the world that you didn't want to accept, or you were too sturdy and too direct when you were just using your metallic bodies. So they gain rust, and you need to learn how to use more feminine and watery bodies. So guys, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you didn't enjoy the video, drop a dislike. And also check the link tree that will be in the description below, so you can check out all of my content: gaming, music, YouTube in Portuguese, Instagram, paintings, whatever, tarot readings as well. And huge shout out to the Soul Group, huge shout out to the unique individuals that are changing their world by being themselves. Huge shout out to Daria, my beautiful partner. The link to her page will be also in the description below. And huge shout out to Uriel. And until the next time, I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions. I wish you creativity, uniqueness, imagination, and individuality, so you can maintain your sanity. And until the next time, if you are too metallic, don't be afraid to get rust. Actually, that's a way of balance. Alright? Until the next time, Esoteric Cloud Surfer, surfing out. See you soon!